beautiful day in Mobile. Even though we got some liquid sunshine out there, it's still another beautiful day because the Lord has woke us up this morning. Welcome to our pre-meeting. Today's date is January the 25th, 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, we're now in the hands of our capable city clerk. This is Lisa Carol Lambert.
Thank you. Good morning. This is the pre-meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, January 25th. We have approval of minutes from January the 11th and January 18th.
No issue.
Appeals, we have a request for waiver of the noise ordinance at Tri-Centennial Park, and this is on June the 18th from 10 a.m. until 8 p.m.
No issues.
And Cooper Riverside Park on May 20th from 4 p.m. until 10 p.m.
I guess we need to change that from district. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Carroll. Yeah, the first one, yeah, I need to change District 1.
Yeah. Public hearings today is a public hearing to consider the revocation of the business license of Hussein Abdullah doing business as Discount Zone located on Azalea Road.
Could we hear from the Public Safety Director about this, please?
They're going to come down and be prepared to do a presentation for you at the 10:30 meeting.
Okay.
I saw a note that one might be tabled. Is that still accurate or not?
Mr. President, the actual hearing ain't going to be able to go forward. There actually is no business license to revoke, which we found out after the fact. But Ms. Ramon from MPD is going to come down and give you all the lay of the land and explain what's going on and the efforts that they're making.
Mr. Argy, so you're saying that it would not be a public hearing?
Correct. Well, yeah, we'll just need to table it or whatever when it comes up. Because not only is it the wrong person, but there not even is a business license on that property right now.
Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. Davis.
If I could take a few minutes. This location, this business, is located on the corner of Pleasant Valley Road and Azalea Road across from Denton and Davidson schools. It has been, I think has been noticed over the last, 5 years, Chief. There have been 500 calls for service. There have been all kinds of crimes committed here. I don't want to get too closely into Ms. Ramon's presentation, but it is a significant problem, and in my opinion, poses a significant danger to not only the citizens of District 5 and the city as a whole, but to those students who go to school across the street. And I don't want to get too much into Ms. Ramon's presentation, but I think once I would ask that we go ahead, even if we're not going to have the public hearing, we allow Ms. Ramon to talk to the council about all the problems that have gone on at this location, because resolving it is going to be a difficult and time-consuming process. Is that fair, Mr. Arledge?
I still have a question. Even though we're going to table this public hearing, and Ms. Ramon will come down here to present to us, what can we do? I mean, if there's no business license. So it's just for informational purpose.
It's not really a public hearing, but if you allow it, it'd be helpful to y'all to hear what you have to say.
But again, it's nothing that we can.
There's not going to be any rules or anything like that.
Okay. Anything else from the council?
Yeah, I think part of the importance with this, for me at least, is just putting this out as a foundational capability of how we can hopefully address issues as a city council with organizations that have criminal activities on their properties. And I think hopefully what we hear is, when it rises to the level of a nuisance, which I think is what we're hearing from our colleague, that this is in his district. I think we probably have other businesses that I know I do in my district. So I'm extremely interested to see, what are the parameters that lies around this as we move forward, because it will help guide a path, I think, for other business institutions that have these same types of issues that I'm extremely interested to pursue.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I know we have a packed agenda today, and I really would not ask that we go ahead and allow Ms. Ramon to speak to us about this situation if it wasn't absolutely critical that she have the ability to do that today.
Anything else from the council? It's just, I just got one more thing to say. And of course, I listened to the representative of that district, but it's nothing that we can do to me, and I could be wrong, but if I'm hearing this out in the public that if this particular place has been running a business without no business license, to me, that's more shame on the city. Y'all don't agree with that? And that, to me, that probably encourage people not to pay the, or get business license. I mean, if this is really put out, that's the way I look at it. But
That's going to be one of the things she mentions is talks about is what the path forward is, and if it makes y'all more comfortable, it may be better to put that under presentations of communications to the council as opposed to the public hearing section.
okay. Anything else from the council?
Yeah, I would say let's do that. Let's put it under presentations. Let's be procedurally correct with it.
Okay. All right, Madam Clerk.
Public hearing to fix costs for demolition of structures at 2766 LaCrenne Street, 331 Smith Street, 2061 Tucker Street, 456 Booker Street, 307 Gaston Street, and 1258 Skywood Drive. Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council. Reverend Tony Allgood regarding Ordinance 39003. Shalala Dowdy regarding redistricting. Jim Flowers regarding redistricting. Reverend Sandy McQueen, redistricting. Reverend Milton Sappho, redistricting. Amelia Bacon, redistricting. Terry Mitchell, animal issues and the city's animal shelter. Anna Bush, ad hoc animal committee and the animal shelter citizens advisory committee report. Vanessa Hollinshead, I'm sorry. That is issues regarding the homeless and crime at risk youth. Sharon Ingram. Are we canceling? Yeah, we're okay. That one is canceled. And Reggie Hill regarding Chapter 38 and 46 of the Mobile Municipal Code, collective citizens' perspective on why crime has risen so drastically throughout the city, recommendations for upcoming Public Safety Committee meeting. That's all.
Okay.
Ordinance is held over. 39003, ordinance regarding urban camping and improper use of public places.
Mr. Reynolds, I know we have a committee meeting this afternoon. Did you want to say anything or just want to wait till the committee meeting?
Let's just wait till the committee meeting.
So we're going to hold this over for another 2 weeks, another week, or what?
During the meeting, how long to hold it over, because we don't know what's going to happen with the committee meeting this afternoon, and we'll need to make a decision at the meeting prior to the committee meeting as to how long to hold this over. Because it's the second read, so we've got to make a decision to lay it over at least.
I would say at this point, I would feel comfortable laying it over 1 week in order to accommodate our public safety meeting this afternoon. And then after we have the public safety meeting, we can decide, if it needs to be held over any longer.
Yeah, and then.
But it's my goal. I hope that we can bring this to resolution. I think once we have our public safety meeting, it'll become clear to everyone that up immediately, as quickly as possible. So I don't necessarily want to hold it over a long period of time, and just kind of let it get stale.
Okay. So 1 week, okay?
Well, okay. We can lay it over for a week, but then this afternoon, we will get a better feel for where it stands. And then next week, we can either vote on it or lay it over for a longer period of time.
Yeah, I just don't want to prolong it. Either we're for it or we're not. Let's hear everybody out in public safety. Let's see what accommodations need to be made for everyone to get to where they need to be. To vote it, and then let's get it on the agenda and let's vote for it. But I hope that everybody sees it the way I see it. This is something that needs immediate action. We don't need to delay it any further. So, but I agree with you, Councilwoman Gregory, that we can have a better feel after the public safety meeting today.
Anything else
Hold
from
it
the
over
council?
1 week. See what happens.
Anything else from the council?
Mr. President,
Yes, Ms. Gregory.
when we go into our meeting at 10:30, if you would make an announcement to the group who is here, because a lot of folks are coming down to talk about this particular ordinance, to make sure that they all understand that we are not voting today, that we'll be holding a committee meeting to see where it stands, but we will not be voting today.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Anything else from the council? Mr. Jones?
If we let those folks know, they can provide comment to the committee meeting. They cannot speak at the committee meeting, but they can provide comment and input for the committee meeting. They may choose to do that as well.
I don't think that's wise.
Well, it's open to the public, so they can certainly come and be a part of it. If they want to send us something in writing, call, email, whatever, that's perfectly fine. We'll see where we are this afternoon with the committee meeting, and if we do go forward, if we find that we need to go forward and have more input, then, we can discuss that then. But it's on the agenda. They are welcome to come speak today because it's on the agenda, but I just want everybody to understand that we will not be voting on it, so.
And there will be no public comment at the committee meeting.
That's what we were saying, yeah. No public comment at the committee meeting because this is the council's work session committee meeting, and we are not planning to hold public comment at the committee meeting. But
anyone who wants to comment in writing is always free to
sure,
comment.
always.
Right.
And we have gotten phone calls and emails and correspondence from different people about this, so we certainly have heard from you in that way.
Mr. President, may we ask that we be alerted when the council is not going to have public comment at the committee meetings, because we weren't aware and people have called the office to ask if they would be able to comment at the meeting, and we weren't told that there would be no comment at this committee meeting.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Days.
I would say that the general rule is no public comment is taken at committee meetings because they're work sessions. That would be the general rule.
We
Okay.
have at times when people are in the audience and we are having a meeting and they want to speak, we have at times made it possible for them to do so. But, as a general rule, they're work sessions unless we announce otherwise. So, in some cases, we just play it by ear, see who's there, if they would like to speak, and if the committee so feels, then, we make that decision then. Are people planning to come today to the committee meeting to speak?
Yes.
Mr. Carey.
Mr. President, I have received numerous requests for individuals to be able to speak both here and at committee. My response to that is rule is set by the committee chair before the committee meeting starts. That has always been my understanding about it, and that is sent out to the public with the committee announcement. If we are not allowing them to speak today, that's okay. But however, we need to let them know that if they have a question or a matter of concern, to submit it at the door to the clerk and have the clerk give the question to the committee chair so that she can address it during a committee meeting if we're not going to allow I'm pretty sure we're going to hear some of the same questions today from the podium anyway that we may be able to address. If not, then that's okay too. But I think we have a clear process as to how we handle committee meetings. I don't think I've ever allowed questions from the gallery either after the committee meeting has started, and there was no rule laid out in advance.
Yeah, when the release went out, there was nothing that said public comments would be taken at the committee meeting. So I think speaking as the general rule, we don't. But like I said, at times we have allowed people in the audience to speak when they were there and they asked, as long as the committee members were in agreement to let that happen. So let's see what happens at the committee meeting this afternoon. Let's let the council go through, get information, because this is our first time to meet together, to discuss this, to hear from the administration, to hear from Mr. Reynolds, and go through the ordinance as it is. And we need a work session to do this. Once we finish that, if there are still people in the audience who feel like they need to speak, then we can discuss that and determine if we want to allow that or not. Let's just kind of leave it at that. But generally, unless it is put into the release, public comments will be taken. We don't. I'm open to considering it, and we will talk with the other council members and see if they are open to doing that at the committee meeting this afternoon. But as long as everybody understands that they're welcome to come today to speak at the podium, they're welcome to come next week, if it's on the agenda for next week, which it is, to speak, emails, phone calls, all of the ways that we get correspondence. But again, this is a work session for the council this afternoon because we have yet to be able to sit down and discuss this.
Madam Clerk, if it's just possible that you can just probably set up a little sign typically outside the door and ask, any questions or in the statements, et cetera, to put it down and just let one of the ladies read it.
Mr. President?
Ms. Carroll?
It seems like we have a lot of speakers on the list, and it's everything from animal control to redistricting and a couple other things. When the speakers come today, can they be grouped together so that we can handle one issue at a time instead of everybody coming?
All right. Madam Clerk?
Consent resolutions held over. 37026, recommend approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a lounge retail liquor Class 1 license for Club Elevate on Halls Mill Road.
Mr. Reynolds, you good?
Yep, we're good.
40 050 051 052 53 and 54 are declaring the structures public nuisances and ordering them demolished.
Mr. Carroll?
Mr. President, I talked to Mr. Dockenbaugh this morning, and the two on State Street are going to be tabled. The others, he highly suggested I knock them down. I'm going to go with Mr. Dockenbaugh's recommendation on this one. So last week was a holdover, so I still hadn't got through all of those yet, but I'll accept your recommendation.
Resolutions held over. 21063, authorized contract with Neil Schaefer for stormwater management. 01064, authorized agreement with the University of South Alabama for consulting evaluation work for the Justice and Mental Health Collaboration Grant Program. 01065, authorized agreement with CSX Transportation for Beauregard Street, Robert Hope Overpass. 08066, approved purchase order to Dennis Aluminum Products for decorative signposts and extensions. 08067, approved purchase order to Emergency Equipment Professional for aerial ladder fire truck. 08068, approved purchase order to Emergency Equipment Professional for Enforcer Pump fire trucks. 13069, authorized change order with Neil Schaefer for innovating St. Louis Street Mobiles Technology Corridor. 18070, authorized the condemnation of land for the widening of McGregor Avenue, track 36. 310.
Condemnation?
Pardon me?
Oh, well,
That's the volunteer.
That's one of the ones we,
31071, adopt the CDBG Home and ESG Action 2022-23 Action Plan.
I don't see Jamie is in here. Jamie, I mean, are we moving forward? I've got your responses to my questions, but moving forward based on leverage and the opportunity to do what I've asked, we will still be able to do that if we pass this today?
Consent resolutions being introduced. 31077, authorize a grant application to Bloomberg Center for Cities for grant assistance in support of their leading city procurement reform program. It's no match. 31078, authorize a grant application to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency for the Homeland Security Combating Domestic Violence Extremism Grant. No match. 37079, 8081, are recommending approval to the ABC Board for issuance of a restaurant retail liquor license for barbecuing with My Honey Restaurant and Bar on Dolphin Street, for issuance of a restaurant retail liquor license for the Insider Food Hall on Dolphin Street, and for issuance of a restaurant retail liquor license for China Doll Seafood Restaurant on Airport Boulevard. 40-828384858687 are fixing the cost for demolition of structures and securing structures. 60-0888 is approving award for special bonus for Firefighter of the Month. 60-089 and 090 are determining appropriations to the Village of Spring Hill and Booker T. Washington Middle School serve a public purpose in approving payment. Resolutions being introduced. 01091, authorize agreement between the City of Mobile, ALDOT, the City of Sims, Mobile County for traffic signal improvements along the Schillinger Road, Theodore Dawes Road corridor, and Airport Boulevard.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Jones.
can y'all give us a little bit of insight as to when this work will begin and what, a little bit about what the scope is on that? Great. This is a great news story, and that's one of the worst areas, that whole Schillinger Airport Road. So glad to see that, and glad that we've got other organizations helping out with that. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Davis.
I didn't see Ms. White in the audience earlier. If I could just ask her to wait around for a few minutes after we finish this particular meeting, I have a couple of questions for you. Thank you.
Are you directed, Mr. Davis? I'm just joking. Just joking. Just joking.
Resolution. Okay. Resolution 01092, authorize agreement with Jake, is it Ecker, to provide tennis lessons and clinics for parks and recreation. 08093, approve item-based bid for street sweeper brooms. 08094, approved purchase orders for fuel. 08095, approved purchase order to CDW Government for network control software for IT department, $15,677. 21096, authorized contract with ShotSpotter
Mr.
for
President,
subscription services for management of technical technology and consulting services funding from the American Rescue Plan.
Mr. Jones?
yeah, I'd like to request a meeting, Mr. Batiste. I've got a couple of emails this morning with regard to this specific issue with some concerns. If we could just find some time to meet before the next city council meeting, I'd appreciate that very much.
Yeah, Ms. Baptiste?
Yeah, I'm available to meet immediately after council today. And then, of course, we do have a presentation planned for the city council to talk about technology as we move forward. So,
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. President,
Ms. Gregory?
since we do have a Public Safety Committee meeting coming up over at headquarters, I think we would all like to see this included in the presentation along with any of the other ARP-funded programs that y'all have. This will be a great opportunity for everybody to get updates and details on some of the programs, but certainly meet with Scott ahead of time and anybody else who, wants to do it.
that was the plan. I
Okay.
think it's scheduled for the 22nd of next month. We have the meeting scheduled, so it's on the schedule and plan to provide the presentation to you guys as an overview as to what we're doing with all of the different programming and the funding that was available through the ARPs.
And I understand, but this is on the agenda now, so, if anybody wants information ahead of time, I think we definitely want to do that. But I think it's great. I get phone calls and emails from people a lot of the time saying, I heard gunshots. Okay, where is it? How would you like for me to try to get the police to your house? We all go through this sort of thing, so this certainly makes it easier for our police to do their jobs to protect, the people in these neighborhoods where they do hear the gunshots. So, yeah, I think it's good. And while I'm thinking about it, I can make this announcement later, but if any of the council members have ideas or questions about any of our public safety issues that we can add to Director Batiste's list, then let's do that. Anything that you all would like to discuss or hear details about it, the 22nd meeting, that would be good.
Any other council members? Madam Clerk?
60097 and 98 are approving settlement agreement and release of claims. 60099, establish redistricting guidelines for council districts in the city of Mobile. Announcements.
Yeah, we're going to have the CIP meeting immediately following our council meeting today to discuss the future of the 1 cent sales tax that sunsets in 2023 and any changes or suggestions from the council. We'll discuss those. I believe Colonel DeLapp, you're going to be there, and Finance Director Holt's going to be there as well.
Mr. Holt, you will have like all the figures from, is it possible that you can have all the figures that from the time that we started our CIP until today, where how it was divided, how much money it has been, how much money went to like incentives, how much, that's left in it, like into incentives. I didn't hear you, I'm sorry.
I said I wasn't requested to provide
Okay.
that information. It may take some while to gather all that together that you're talking about.
Just for the future, you can just get that to us for the future, because a couple of my colleagues, we had some discussions about that, and that's something that we need. We need that information, especially if we look to change the ordinance on that.
Well,
Okay.
I think maybe it'd be a good idea if we had a smaller meeting just to discuss exactly the detail that you want, so I can go after it in an efficient way, because there's a lot of information that goes in the CIP, particularly over the last number of years that we've had it, and I just want to make sure that you get everything that you're looking for. And until I understand exactly what that is, I'd hate to just start pushing numbers together. So if we could spend just a few minutes together, that would be helpful.
That'd be great, but that information should be apprised to all the council members, and everything. So we might have to set up a second one in the future.
The way that I kind of see this meeting going is more of an introductory meeting, especially for the new council members to understand it a little bit more, make those requests for any future meetings we may have. When this sunset gets a little bit closer, we'll then be prepared with information information we need to make actual modifications to the ordinance itself. So that's kind of how I see it going today. Is we can make those requests. This can serve as that smaller meeting to identify the things that are important to us to the executive branch, so that then they could put it together in such a way that we can more clearly make policy based on it.
Anything else from the council?
Mr. President,
Ms. Gregory?
I should have said this when we were going through the agenda, but Resolution 60-099, the guidelines for the redistricting, that's a resolution, the way I read it, basically just reiterating what we are already doing with the mayor's plan, the Zoom meetings that we had yesterday, going through the plans, the meetings that we've already set. So I would think that we would all want to co-sponsor this, because all it does is make official what we are doing, and I think it would be something that we all should consider being a co-sponsor. Mr. Jones and Mr. Carroll already are.
I have no objection to that. This doesn't resolve a whole lot of things. This is something we do once every 10 years, so I think it's totally appropriate that we do a resolution for it. But, you know, it's not something that is absolutely required of us. Again, I think it's something that's helpful, so I'd be happy to co-sponsor with my colleagues.
Mr. Carroll?
Well, thank you. I was going to hold my comments until 10:30, but I will say that thank you guys for joining in on the sponsorship of this. I called some of you ahead of time asking for your support. I'm glad to see that after your read that everybody is interested. Thank you to the mayor's office for also jumping onto this. I sent this out to Ricardo maybe a month or so ago. It's been through, if you look at it, it's been through 6 revisions since I've started it. Also, some of the actions that the mayor's office are taking now are also actions that we actually cut out of it in the beginning when we started this, and we kind of got it down some. So I'm glad to see for the first time since the Zogby Act was formed and this form of government was set up, that the city of Mobile is actually going to take this out to the public and also let the public be involved in a very clear, transparent process as we get to the end of this, as we look for a goal that Mobile hasn't ever been able to do before based on the census count. Thank you all.
Any other council members? Anything from the administration?
Just to Councilman Carroll's point, the mayor is willing to co-sponsor that resolution as well.
And the first virtual town hall is at noon, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, and then one at 5 o'clock.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Carroll?
I had, from the way this agenda looks, we're still going to be sitting here at noon. And we might be sitting here at 5 o'clock. Hopefully not. But
Yes, that's why we ask for everyone to, 3 minutes is the limit. And with all these speakers, if we could hold down our comments, that might get us through in time to make Ben's meeting at 1, possibly.
you know, I got a big mouth. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to hold back. The one at 5 o'clock, though, that's like drive time for people that get off at 5 that might want to participate. Are we going to be able to do others beyond that time?
Yes, and we're also recording both of the ones at noon at 5, so they will be on the website. But as we talked about in the outreach plan, if there are specific people that want to do virtual meetings or Zoom meetings, we're happy to do those as well as the community meetings. Right. So your answer is yes.
Okay, I talked to the League of Women Voters also. And this is more of a work session before council, so we can do this. But I talked to the League of Women Voters, and I think there's a friendly amendment that they would like to see to the resolution that's written. And I think that it is a voter outreach portion of it. And I think that amendment is probably what you wrote and sent to me that I read this morning at 6:58 that you sent to me. And it may be that we amend the resolution to include a portion of that. I've got to let Ulrich look at it. I'm sorry, I got to let Chris look at it and see if it fits and if it's what the League of Women Voters is also looking for. So I think we can do that between now and next week.
Okay.
Anything else from the council? If not, we'll see each other at 10:30.